we're stuck as for a global system. But ultimately, we've got basically an army of associates out there in marketing who are free to put up content on a regular basis, so in different platforms. I think the hardest thing for us is to manage that tone and manner, make sure we have the right point of view, and we respond in time to time.
So you said to me that you have people back in the States who were like the police, the social media police. Is that better? Is this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have the social media police. We live in a real-time world. How does a brand say, oh my God, there's something going on, I've got to send it back to the States before I respond? How do you deal with the non-real-timeness of all of that?
Well, I think that just in a short, I think we had some tools that we use, but I think the biggest concern we have is Facebook. I think Facebook is tightly controlled by global due to the way that Facebook operates. Because we have a global fan page, so that requires a global team to manage that. But in most other platforms, we manage that at a region, at the local level.
Do you believe in social media monitoring? Who believes in social media monitoring in this room? Not all of you. I would have thought every single hand would have gone up. So, like in every other day I get a call from somebody saying, I've got a new social media monitoring tool. Like Brandtology, Meltwater, whatever, endless amounts of tools. Do you use any of these, and do you believe in the idea of you talk about segmentation, right? So forget about the tools, think about the segmentation. It must be a really tough job for you to go out there and identify people who are interested in drinking after having sex in a park. Whatever. How do you identify these people? Do you go out and monitor the social media? Or do you use research companies? How do you do it?
I guess for ourselves, in terms of our internal team per se, we don't actually actively do it ourselves. We do use agencies. So I think that's probably the good news for me. So I don't not have to wait all night. But we're only as good as our agencies and the tools that we have. So we do have some global tools. So is it sufficient? This area is so nascent that there's, like you said, there's a new tool every single day. Literally, I get caught up every week around these. So I don't think there's a silver bullet. I think it's more important to have your team be the eyes and ears for the brand. So I think one of the important things is all the marketing things. All need to be very passionate, be out there, and have friends that help you this as well.
So what about gaming? I saw some games in here. Are you seeing games as a way to replace your activities on social media? Do you think games is the way forward because people are running out of conversation, or do you like to focus more on the conversations?
I think that's an interesting question. It's not an either or. I think it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. Conversations are great because there's trends are always talked about. You're not going to replace a trend, discussing trends with an application. But an application serves a purpose of trying to get a message and an experience across. Whether it be driving a car, learning how to run faster, learning about a brand equity. So I think games is a key way to entertain our consumer. Consumers are now looking for more entertainment than ever before, so especially with the online. So I think that's a way for us to, our brands are all about entertainment. So that's where we want to play with them.
I want to know a little about the games you make. Where do you make the games? And what games are they? Are they like single-player games? Are they multiplayer games? Are they games you play on your phone? What kind of games are you making? What works? Tell us the secret potion. What works, what doesn't work?
So we're doing all of the above. I think games is relatively new for us. I mean, we used to do a lot of offline games, whether it be like real games, real sports. But we like to turn games and turn it on its head. We do things like snooker or ping pong, and we play it on a round table. And we play ping pong on a round table, play snooker on a round table. So some of those we could develop ourselves. We tried sponsoring games, which is an easy way in, but these days some of the big gaming companies are asking for a lot of money, and sometimes it's better for us to do it on our own. But obviously they have their own.
So will there be an angry bird that's wearing Puma?
I tried to propose that to my global guys. I don't know, it's kind
of
some rights issues. I mean, I'd love to get a red shoe, a blue shoe, different colors, different styles.
So could we just have, for the benefit of those trying to listen, Could you put the microphone closer to your mouth?
Okay.
Perfect. And a quick crowdsource. Shh. Nice. Thank you. What to say now? Do you have any apps? People are crazy about apps. Do you have apps?
I mean, we have a bunch of Facebook apps, and we're constantly developing a few right now. We've got some mobile apps and Facebook apps coming up in the next few months. So, probably not pretty much the first time we're doing it since I've come on board. Apps it's been difficult because I think there's a lot of hidden missions that's been done in the past in our industry. And how do you measure the value of an app or the gaming experience is something that the management always find hard to accept. And I think, I'm very pro games. I've been doing games for over 10 years. And I think ultimately, how do you link that to sales is something that is less obvious.
Surely in the social media sphere, it's more obvious, because whilst you're playing a game, you can track what they're saying, you can send them links, you can do all kinds of stuff, right? So are you not seeing a transition of games getting into a more social environment, allowing you to go to your bosses and say, hey, out of the 200 people who played, 25 talked about buying, 3 went to our e-commerce website?
I think in concept it looks like that. I think in reality it's a lot hard to follow that trail.
Why?
I think to follow from place to place with consumers in multiple environments, and then really measuring it down to retail store, something that's probably quite missing right now.
So there's been a lot recently in the social commerce space. There's a couple of like Zappos and people like that, where, and even in China there's a site called Meidisure, where people are showing what they buy, they make suggestions. Are you dabbling in the social commerce space where you're leveraging people who have a certain style, and you're getting them to be your spokespeople, to go out there into social media and basically push your products? One more crowdsource. Thank you.
I mean, we're not necessarily paying gunners, if you know that term, where you pay people to actually sort of blog good things about you. We actually spend a lot of time, and we've been doing this for a long time, which is seeding products to key influencers, whether it be celebrities, stylists, and we spend a lot of time identifying super influencers in life, whether it be the Jeremy Lins of life, and really giving them products to talk about whether it's good, bad, how to wear it, when to wear it. So, and that's what a model, a seeding model that's worked really well for us. So, for example, in China, one of our largest, most recognized wearer is Han Han, who is...
Han Han wears Puma?
Yes. So he's...
How much do you have to pay Han Han to wear Puma?
We don't pay him a single cent.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Good on you. So what does he do? What does he do for nothing?
So he's a motorsports enthusiast, and really aligned to our brand equity. We didn't choose him just because he was the top blogger in China. It's also because he made our brand equity. He's young, he's youthful, he likes racing. He likes to have fun.
So what does he do? Does he wear your clothes and then does he talk about it on his vlogs? What does he do?
Yeah, I mean his pictures up on a regular basis. So he wears our gear. He wears our gear on the track, whether it be shoes or the actual racing outfit as well.
So does that not see a spike in your sales? Because Han Han is kind of like, check out my shoes. It must have a spike in sales, right?
I wish it was like that, it happened like that. I think if you sort of, we can only hope it does do that. I think, over time with health. But certainly we have seen correlations in certain celebrities, but not all celebrities. So, yeah, and these things are really hit and miss. You don't know when one day they're going to be big. So, as long as they get our brand equity, we're there with them.
So have you had any celebrity scandals that you care to share with everybody? Have any of your celebrities got caught having sex in a park with their shoes on?
I don't have one, but if you do a Google search on one of my competitors, they have in Asia recently, actually, it's one of the celebrities. So,
who's that?
I won't name them.
What was the celebrity doing? Were they in a cockpit? What was the celebrity doing?
They were doing a photo shoot for an advertisement, and the marketing director, there was some scandal.
But what happened?
You guys should Google it.
Okay, too much. You've had PR training. So let's talk a little bit about crowdsourcing. A lot of companies are now using their fan base, their followers, their advocates to come up with product ideas. Are you doing that at all?
We're not actively doing it like probably other companies are doing globally as something that's sort of on our to-do list. What's more important really is for us to spend our time with building relationships with our key fashion bloggers, stylists, and users of our products, and really get their feedback on a regular basis. So that's sort of our strategy around that.
So one more crowd shh. Thank you guys. There's lots of t-shirts here, right? The quietest person gets a t-shirt. He's been the quietest so far. The tallest man in this room is the quietest. That's probably why everybody can see him. So I have a feeling that bloggers are going to run out of steam soon, from a brand's point of view. Because everybody I know who's talking to bloggers are starting to get a lot of attention, or they've got a lot of attention. And they're starting to demand money. They're starting to demand a lot more. Do you not think there's going to be a phase at which brands would go, bloggers are just like celebrities, why should I use them? Why don't I just use ordinary people to talk about me? Why does it have to be famous people or bloggers? Why can't it just be somebody normal?
I mean, that's a really good question. I ask my teams all the time. We've done a bit of everything, but I think in Asia, the fact is that celebrities work. So, and for the money we spend there as an investment, it gives you a quick awareness. And until that model changes, probably you'll still be using celebrities for a long time to come.
Okay, so you lot in the far corner, no t-shirts. They're the loud ones. They all see. They all wear Puma. So, talking about the whole, got me lost now. The whole bloggers and those guys. What do you think about Weibo? Do you think that's the way forward? Because on Weibo, you're very active on Weibo, right? Do you think you would reject Twitter and just focus on Weibo if you're talking about Greater China? Or do you think Twitter is a good tool in this part of the world, Hong Kong included?
Me personally, I'm still on Twitter. I can't type enough in Chinese. But I mean,
shame on you.
I need to pay someone to do that. I think. So I think Weibo has its roots. The roots is in Chinese. So until it gets critical mass, I mean, there's still a bit like portals. There's going to be portals come and go. Where do you want to be? So I think Weibo for the moment is where we're going to be, and it's a hard bet. We can't just bet on one thing. We'll be where we need to be, where the consumers are.
So you're head of marketing, right? I want to know how much money you spend on paid media versus earned media. Social media comes along and it, rejigs the whole chemistry, mix, etc. Right? In the old Universal McCann days, it was display ads, pay-per-click ads. That's it, right? Kind of. So social media comes along. How does it turn the whole, you as a guy with money to spend on advertising, you go, oh my god, I've got all these things to think about. How do you decide where to spend your money and how do you spend it? Preferably US dollar figures. Thanks.
Yeah, it's up my agency. I wish. I mean, I think it's one of the hardest decisions to make because you've got a bunch of traditional campaigns that you've done in the past, you've got metrics for, and you've got social media where you don't have a lot of metrics for, and you say, tell management, hey, trust me, I know this work, I love it. So it's a fine balance because us as a brand, as a marketer, we still have intermediaries that we deal with, be it the traditional retailers. So we work with our franchise partners,